For our next amazing speaker, we have Pat Duckworth. Pat Duckworth is a woman's health strategist, #1 best-selling author, international public speaker, and founder of Smarter Menopause. After 30 years working in the public and volunteer sector at a senior management level, Pat discovered her entrepreneurial mojo in her mid-50s and retrained as a therapist and coach. Since then, she has published not one, not two, not three, but four books. Pat's fourth book, Hot Women Rock, How to Discover Your Midlife Entrepreneurial Mojo, was published in 2016 and became a #1 international bestseller. She is passionate about inspiring women to get the best from their lives, no matter what their age. Give Pat Duckworth a hand as she comes to the stage.
Thank you. I'm a bit shy, so you have to excuse me. So midlife gets a pretty bad press. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say the word midlife? Crisis. Absolutely. So midlife is not a crisis. Midlife is magnificent. Yes. And I don't know if you know, but a lot of research has shown that whereas people's happiness levels drop during their 40s, as you get into your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, it's getting a lot better. Happiness levels rise. And it's really good news for people who want to be midlife entrepreneurs. We've heard about a number of our speakers have talked about the financial crash in 2008. Well, since then, a lot more people have become entrepreneurs. A lot more people over the age of 50 have become entrepreneurs. And the profile of it's changing. People over 50 as entrepreneurs used to be the man with a van who would go out delivering stuff, or the man with a toolbox who would come and do the DIY jobs you didn't want to do, or it's the man with a car who would drive the taxi. But now a lot of women are becoming midlife entrepreneurs. And it's more white-collar work than blue-collar work. It's the women who are becoming independent financial advisors, women who are becoming coaches and therapists, women taking on all sorts of different roles now because they no longer want to work in big corporates. So some statistics up there. This is for the UK, but it's very similar in the USA. And the really good news is that 70% of businesses founded by people over 50 last for more than 5 years, compared to only 28% of those founded by people under 50. So not only are we happier, we're more successful. That is why we rock. And I think the last bit is a bit surprising, that actually the number of people who are working in US technology companies, founders of US technology companies, is more over 50s. So if you think, oh, I don't have to do that because, you know, I'm older. No excuses. If you want to do it, get out there and do it. So why did I come to this conclusion? I left school, went straight to work. I had a strong work ethic. I also had quite a strong let's earn some money ethic. And I went straight into public service. So I worked in the public sector and the voluntary sector, and I moved up the corporate ladder. I went from doing the technical work to doing the management work to doing the corporate work, gradually climbing my way up the greasy pole. I did my MBA when I was 51. I remember I did it through the Open University, which some of you might know, and I was at a summer school and there was a young Russian guy, and he pointed to another guy and he said, God, why do you think that guy's doing it? Well, he said it in a Russian accent. Why do you think this old guy's doing this? How old do you think he is? He must be over 50. And I thought, so am I. And I became a senior civil servant when I was 52. That was like the pinnacle of everything I had ever wanted. I was working in a big government department. I had my office in central London. I had my secretary. This was when I'd started out. Everything I wanted was this moment. And then, you know, there's a and then I was walking to work one morning. It's almost exactly 10 years ago. If I say it was a beautiful summer morning, those of you from America will go, when was that? You know? The sun was shining, the birds were singing. I was walking through a park. In the distance, you could see the sun glinting off of Buckingham Palace and the Victoria Memorial. Big Ben was sounding in the background, and I was crying. I was so unhappy about going to work. And that was my pivotal moment when I thought, I can't go on doing this. So sometimes that view from where you wanted to get to isn't quite what you expected when you get there. So I started talking to a lot of women when I was writing Hot Women Rock about what their experience had been, why they had made that huge change, because it is a huge change. Amber's just held up the 5-minute warning, and I had hidden that. I had actually hidden it. Yeah. So women change for different reasons. We've heard some of those personal reasons, the divorce, the illness, the accident, or perhaps it's the financial situation that's changed. You might have less time commitments. You've stopped doing the school run with the kids. You've stopped being the taxi driver, and now you can start to focus on yourself. Like me, you might be really dissatisfied at work. Or there might be a dream. You've always wanted to do something, and you hit 50 and you think, well, perhaps I better get cracking. I better pursue that dream. If not now, when? And these were some of the women that I interviewed, including the lovely Anne Bennett, yes, who is part of Hot Women Rock. So in midlife, you get superpowers. You've got all of that knowledge. All that you've built up through your work, through your personal experiences. If you've been a mother who stayed at home, you've learned how to manage the finances, how to do project planning, how to drive the car. You know, you're always running the taxi. You've got all of that experience. So rather than just coming out from college with a degree, you've had all of that experience that's made that knowledge into wisdom. You've made a whole network of connections. And you know that's so important to entrepreneurs. You know, we're talking about LinkedIn connections, so many connections. Perhaps a bit more financial security that means you can do what you want to do now. And that sense of purpose. You know, well, I've been doing this job because I wanted to set the foundations for my family, but there's something bigger that I always wanted to do. And this is the stage that many women get to. And perhaps to change priorities, like, okay, kids, you've had your chance. The partner looked after you, and now I'm going to do something really special. And perhaps a bit more self-confidence. I've always been a shy person, but you know. So when I work with clients, I talk about this aligning your neurological levels. Now, there's been a lot of talk, because I'm NLP master practitioner, a lot of talk about beliefs and values and capabilities. What really happens is midlife is this change of identity. And this is massive, particularly for women, because of going through menopause. You've gone from being the fertile sex goddess into being a not so fertile sex goddess. But it changes the way you look at things. And the move from being corporate to being self-employed is massive. The first day that I found myself in a local supermarket in the small town, buying my sandwiches, thinking, what went wrong? You know, I was in central government, and now I think that was the moment where it all started to go right. So my story, part 2, the 4 books that I've written, the first one was Hot Women Cool Solutions. So when I introduce myself at networking, I normally stand up and say, I'm Pat Duckworth, I'm a hot woman with cool solutions. The men kind of look a bit curious, and the women are kind of, I get that, I know where that's coming. And Hot Women Rock, because I really wanted, at the first Women Economic Forum that I went to in India, I wanted to talk about entrepreneurship, and it was really well received there. I'm an international speaker. I will go anywhere. Tonya, you know this. I've spoken in the US, in Canada, in Iceland, in Delhi. I've spoken in Spain and Denmark. If you've got a gig going, please ask me. I will pack my bag and I will be there. I'm also often invited on radio and on podcasts to talk about anything midlife, and particularly around menopause, but also just about being an entrepreneur and what that means to me now. So it's been a real pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Tonya, for inviting me. And if you want to connect with me, those are my connection details. So thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the day.